few announcements from us, some offers and incentives, and we wanted to just really clarify what are the programs that are available to you, what are the buckets of funding buckets that you could dip into, where they're applicable, and what you need to do to get started. So we'll be talking about CSP incentives today. We'll be talking about the Azure Everywhere program, and that falls into the bigger program of ESIF and customer incentive funds. We'll be also be showing you how do you submit your Azure Everywhere claims with Investment Engine. We'll get into Cloud Mentor Program, which is a program that can help you accelerate your cloud business with Microsoft. Advanced support for partners. We'll talk about customer immersion experience and the next steps. So with that, I want to kick it off to my peer Kristen Friend, who is a PDM, to talk about CSP incentives.
Hi, thanks, Asia, and good morning, everyone. Okay, if you attended any of our SMB Live sessions last year, read the profitability ebook, or attended our profitability webinars, then you're aware differentiation is essential to increasing profitability. Leveraging the Cloud Solution Provider Program, or CSP as we like to call it, is a great way to further enable your differentiation. With CSP, you can create unique offerings and bundles for your customers. Not to mention, with CSP, the CSP program really gives you as the partner the ability to own the complete end-to-end relationship with your customer, therefore increasing your stickiness with your customers. This fiscal year, we have a CSP direct and indirect incentive in market to reward our partners who have made the commitment to this Cloud Solution Provider program as their route to market for Microsoft-based online services. However, unlike last year, partners no longer need to be managed to participate in this incentive program. Eligibility will be based off competency attainment. And I do want to repeat that because that is a big, big change from last year. Eligibility for the CSP direct and indirect reseller incentive is based off, one of the main eligibility requirements is based off CSP or off competency attainment. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. I have a whole slide dedicated to it. Partners also must hold an active MPN enrollment and sign the Microsoft Cloud Reseller Agreement. The payouts for the incentives are received on the back end at a base rate of 8%. In addition, this year we have worldwide accelerators where you will receive an additional 5% incentive for Microsoft 365, E3, and E5, Dynamics 365, and Office 365 E5 SKUs. For Azure provision through CSP, the accelerator is 10%, and PSTN add-on earns an additional 20% accelerator. All payouts will be, of course, based on the terms and conditions of the programs. So right now, I just want to take a few minutes and do the math for you here. When you order, let's say, Office 365, E3, or even Business Premium, the typical, and it's through the CSP model, the typical upfront margins for an indirect reseller is around 10%. Now add on the CSP incentive, and you're at 18%. Now say you order Microsoft 365 E3 to provide your customer a complete modern workplace solution. You will, once again, earn the 10% upfront margin, the 8% CSP incentive, and an additional 5% accelerator, bringing your margins and incentives to 23%. I also do want to note that this incentive is stackable with whatever distribution incentives they have in market around their CSP offerings. So do talk to your distribution partner as well to see what other programs and incentives you can leverage through them. Okay, now on to the eligibility for CSP. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main requirements for this year is you must have an active competency by December 31st. The competency can be any one of the 8 listed here on the slide. So our small, if you earned a silver or gold, small and mid-market cloud solutions, or the cloud productivity for Office 365 or cloud platform. Those will all be qualified competencies for this program. If you do not have an active competency, please check out the MPN competency link provided here. So the third bullet down. That site is amazing, an amazing resource. It really easily shows the benefits and requirements for each of these competencies. When you're in the link, you will see the solutions tabs. Click on the solution that is most strategic for your business, and all the competencies related to that solution will be listed. And right from there, you'll see the benefits associated with it, as well as the requirements to earn either the silver or gold competency. Besides having the active competency, provision Microsoft Online Services via CSP, you must also register for this program. You're not automatically enrolled into it. To start this registration process, you must send an email request to ocina@microsoft.com. That's OCINA@microsoft.com. And this will, this request will be for an invitation to our PIEx onboarding. So that's the tool where the payouts and the tracking of this incentive occur. Make sure your virtual organization MPN ID and state whether you're an indirect or direct reseller is all provided in that email. This then will kick off the whole registration process with some emails going back and forth between you and CINA until the process is complete. The steps are listed right there on the slide. Some key dates to make you aware of are that this program launched, or this incentive launched, back on July 1st. And when you register currently for it, the payouts will be retroactive to your CSP provisions, all the way subscriptions that were provisioned through CSP all the way back to July 1st through December 31st for this half, and it will continue on throughout the fiscal year. You must have that active competency by December 31st and enrolled in the program, and payouts should be received by you around February 15th for all of the incentive that you earned during the first half, so from July 1st to December 31st. Now I'd like to introduce Katie Rickman, our Product Marketing Manager, to discuss end customer investment funds and programs.
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Katie.
Perfect, and I'll go ahead and start my video as well and then take over here. So thank you so much, Kristen. It says some people can't see what's being presented or shared. Can you guys just let me know to...
You're loading for me, Katie.
Okay. And it says loading on my side too.
Okay.
And it brought me back to the beginning of the presentation. Is that same for you guys?
It's the same, but it's up.
Okay, so we'll run really quickly through these slides here and get to the slides for me. There we go. Okay. So hi, everyone. My name is Katie Rickman, and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager focusing on our channel development partners. So I sit in our Cloud and Enterprise team and help for the partners that are LSP, DISTI, and VAR partners to make use of some of our programs, incentives, and kind of landing the strategy for our Cloud and Enterprise team. So for today, we're going to take a look at a couple different things. One is some of the offers that we have in market for partners and customers to take advantage of. And this is a pretty busy slide, but what I really want you guys to focus on is what's kind of outlined in red, so that you guys can have an understanding of all of the offers that are in market, but which ones are going to be most applicable to you. So to kind of clear the slide quickly, on the left-hand side are all of the offers that are available via the Partner Investment Engine, or PI, and I'll actually drop a link to the PI engine in the IM window just so that you guys have that. And those then are accessible by the partner through that tool, and they're to help support you guys delivering proof of concepts or migration or deployment services to your end customers. And so we're paying you, the partner, to go deliver those services to an end customer. There's 3 different programs there: Azure Everywhere for premium and data workloads. And you'll see this on the left-hand side. And then what's going to be coming within the next week or 2 is the EMS E5 Everywhere assessment and POC. So that one's in gray because it's going to be coming in a couple weeks now. So the Azure Everywhere at the top left, it covers Microsoft Azure, SQL Server on-prem, as well as EMS E5 currently. And the description you'll see is to drive a partner-led customer engagement designed to drive consumption of their first Azure workload, or in the cases of EMS or SQL, driving EMS deployment or SQL Server on-prem deployment. Some of those examples of what a quote unquote customer engagement might look like would be, say, an architectural design session, a cloud assessment, cloud hands-on training. But in the end, what we'd really like to see then is a solution stood up in the cloud. It could be on a trial version of Azure is fine. But so that by the end of this engagement with your customer, they're actually consuming or having deployed a POC or their full solution. For the activity type on the right-hand side in the red box, it says 1 to 4 day POC or deployment workshop. If it's not, quite a full day, that's fine. That's more of a guideline as to what we see tends to work best, is having a 1 to 4 day engagement with the customer. The expected outcome, like I said, is consumption or deployment of Azure EMS E5 or SQL on-prem. This does cover all customer types, managed or unmanaged. And then for the opportunity ID, which is a required field in the Partner Investment Engine or PI form when you submit the claim, for managed customers, you'll want to work with the account manager for that customer to provide you an MSX opportunity, or what we're now calling engagement IDs, that are available through our internal CRM system. If it's an unmanaged customer, then if you do have access to a tool called Partner Sales Connect, then you can put the Partner Sales Connect ID in there. But for those partners, and I'm guessing that there's quite a few of the partners on this call that don't have access to Partner Sales Connect, then you can literally just write the word unmanaged into the opportunity ID field, and that is fine too, because that just means that you as the partner don't have access to Partner Sales Connect and that the customer is unmanaged. It is available for all license types, so it works for CSP, MOSP, EA, and it does also work for SQL SPLA, say, as well. Funding limits, so the payout for Azure Everywhere, there's 2 funding payout options. $1,500 payout to you, the partner, if the opportunity is $1,000 a month in expected consumption or greater, or if it's a SQL on-prem opportunity that's not SPLA, then we'd say $12,000. And then you double that for the $3,000 payout. So $2,000 a month in an expected consumption, or a $24,000 SQL on-prem opportunity if it's not SPLA. And I did see a question in the IM window about a program for EMS E5. When we first launched these programs, or sorry, EMS E3, when we first launched these, we did have to launch them for E5 because that was going to be a primary focus area, but we've been really pushing the teams to include EMS E5 as well, or E3 as well. So the EMS E5 Everywhere assessment that's grayed out currently, we are working to get E3 included in that. So you'll see that within the next couple weeks coming in. And then after we get E3 included in that one, then we're also looking to bring E3 into the Azure Everywhere one that's circled in red. So that will be probably a week or so after the launch of the EMS Everywhere assessment and POC program, just because we've got working on that one first, and then we'll bring in E3 to Azure Everywhere. So Microsoft 365 is not included in the Azure Everywhere program, but there is a separate program for Microsoft 365 in PI. So you'll be able to take a look at that if you go to the the URL that I dropped in the IM, you can see what programs are available in there. And a little bit later in the presentation, I'll actually jump over to the Pi engine itself, or the Pi portal, so that you can see what that looks like. Okay, so the next program down, Azure Everywhere for Premium and Data Workloads, this is really a premium version of Azure Everywhere focused specifically on Azure premium solutions, as well as SQL Server on-prem. So the same type of idea of it being a partner-led customer engagement that's a POC or deployment migration type of workshop. This one, though, is only available to partners that have a competency. So you'll see the competency requirements there in the description. So you have to have the gold or silver cloud platform or data platform competency. It is a larger engagement. So if you see on the right-hand side under details and funding limits, it's for managed customers only. You have to have the MSX opportunity ID given by the managed customers account manager. It is still available for all license types. But the funding limit for this one is $5,000, and then the opportunity size needs to be $30,000 in expected consumption over the next 12 months. And you can do an additional $2,000 for a consumption assessment. So in total for this one, the payout could be up to $7,000, either $5,000 or $7,000 if you do the consumption assessment as well. This one, just because we do have the additional requirements for the partner, as well as the customer needing to be managed, and the workloads needing to be premium workloads, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of get access to this one, but you do have the higher payout if it is something that you're eligible for. So I'll go ahead and leave it at that for now for the Pi programs. If you guys have any questions about those, feel free to drop them in the IM window, and I'll keeping an eye on those. Okay, so how does the payout work at closing at end of month quarterly? So for this one, I believe it is after the proof of execution is submitted into the Pi tool and they approve that, then you submit your proof of execution into MS Invoice, and they will pay that invoice out on their monthly payment cycle. Okay. For the right-hand side of this slide, we have some Azure offers that are accessible via your PDM or iPDM. So these are the ones that you won't see in the Pi engine. And if you have some larger opportunities that make sense to connect with your iPDM or PDM to kind of discuss what offers are available to those larger opportunities, these would be some of the ones that your iPDMs and PDMs would be choosing from. So I won't go into too much detail here. Your iPDMs, PDMs should be fully aware of kind of what these are. And if they aren't, then they can definitely reach out to me. But yeah, as you get to opportunities that are, say, $100,000 a year in estimated consumption or greater, those are the types of opportunities that you're going to want to bring to your PDM to say, hey, I've got a large one, I've got a big fish here. What are all of the things that you would recommend that I take a look at? And then we can walk through which of those programs would be a best fit based on the size of the opportunity and the products that they're looking at, and how they're looking to license them and things like that. Okay, so to dive a little bit deeper into Azure Everywhere, and again, these slides are going to be shared out, so you guys can kind of take a look here. I did add the Azure Everywhere Pi deck in here, so you'll find this deck in the Partner Investment Engine portal as well. But it does break down a little bit further, the sales stage, the exact workloads, the payout amounts, all customer types for Azure Everywhere. We have a customer cap, so you can do up to 2 claims per customer as long as they're different workloads. So it could be 1 Azure plus 1 SQL, or 1 EMS plus 1 Azure, that kind of idea. So you can double dip into this program as long as both of the opportunities, both the SQL on-prem opportunity and the Azure opportunity, meet the ROI requirements, meaning that, say, it could be $2,000-$3,000 payouts if you have a $24,000 greater SQL opportunity plus a $2,000 a month or greater Azure opportunity. So then the payout for that one customer would be $6,000 because you're double dipping into the $3,000 payout. Some of the additional requirements. This is a good opportunity to build a consumption plan, although it's not required for Azure Everywhere. There is a link in here to a Yammer page, which will show you where you can look at a consumption plan as a template that you can build out if that's something you'd like to leverage. And actually under this opportunity section, it talks about the customer engagement, but the links I want to point your attention to just really quick is we do have what we're calling Azure Fast Start workshops, and those are some resources and content that our Microsoft Consulting Services team had actually built out for their own use, and they've made those available to partners now. So if you're interested in taking advantage of the offer, but maybe not sure where to start, that's a good place to kind of get some training resources as well as some content that you might be able to leverage, customize, and then deliver to your customers based on your areas of interest there. So I'll keep moving along. I don't see any questions for this slide. So this is the POE, or proof of execution. So once the workshop or the engagement with your customer has been completed, then this is what's needed for the proof of execution. So what you will need to do is make sure that you have the POE template either on customer letterhead or being sent by an email from the customer's domain with their full name and email address in the footer, so that we can make sure that it actually came from the customer beyond just being signed. Or if you have DocuSign, then you can use DocuSign and have that submitted as the proof of execution. For the details of what should be included, those will be in numbers 2 and 3. And in essence, it's just saying that you, the partner, did this work on this date with this customer, and some details like the PO and things like that. So that needs to be included in the proof of execution, Word doc or DocuSign that the partner or that the customer signs and returns back to you. The fourth piece of this is that a subscription ID is required to submit with your proof of execution. So say if you did an Azure POC and they had a trial subscription, then they can use that trial subscription ID as the subscription ID for the proof of execution. EMS as well will need the subscription ID. For SQL on-prem, because we don't have a subscription ID, then that won't be required for SQL on-prem. And there's an option in the Pi tool just to click, no subscription ID, it's SQL on-prem. Okay. Here's just some more kind of best practices and reminders for the proof of execution. So I'll keep going since you guys can take a look at this, and feel free obviously to reach out to your PDM, IPDM, myself if you have any questions. Then I want to do a demo of how to navigate the Pi tool. So I guess best way to do this, Bruce, would be stop sharing and then share my screen. Or just share desktop from right here?
You can share desktop or do either. Yeah, that would work.
Okay, so I'm going to share my desktop and hopefully this works out here.
Oh,
and then
it will. If not, we'll bring in the dancing bears. So we'll be okay.
Perfect. I'm glad we got a plan B.
Yeah, no, this will work just fine. And again, folks, if you have any questions along the way, please go ahead and drop those into the window. We're happy to kind of talk about those as we go. I don't see it yet, but now I see it loading. I'll let you know when it pops up here, Katie. But this is great, folks, because it gives you a chance to see how this works live with real data here. So,
so unfortunately, it is erroring out on my side.
Okay.
To keep this moving along, would it be easier, Bruce, do you want to try and see if you can share your desktop and I'll just walk through as you go through it? Because it's airing out here. Otherwise, we'll just need to kind of keep moving.
I could do that. Let me go ahead and do that now.
So I'm going to try it one more time while you click on that Microsoft Partner Investment Engines link.
Yeah. All right, let's see if you can get it to work.
Nope, it says an error occurred.
So I'm going to share a window, and let's see if you can see this. Let me know.
Okay, so it says loading on my side.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So I can see it now. Lovely. Okay, so before you click on anything there, so this is the first page that partners will see when you access the Partner Investment Engine. And if you've accessed it before and have an access code, then you can go right to sign in. If you haven't accessed it before, then you can request one, clicking on that request one button there. And then it'll ask you for some details. You'll submit your information to Pi, and they usually come back within 48 hours to give you your access code and access to the site. So it's pretty quick there, but I would say go ahead and do that just quickly so that you've got that already taken care of, so that when you do want to submit a claim that you'll have that accessible. So Bruce, go ahead and click sign in. And I guess I probably should have checked to see if you have access to this, but you can click on Microsoft Employee.
All right. I know I've done this before, but I don't know if it would. Let's see what it shows up.
See if it keeps you in there.
There we go. Thank
Okay, so click on Home and see if it lets you go to the home page or if it wants you to update or edit your profile.
Yeah, it wants me to edit it.
Okay.
Should I do something quickly here, or?
Yeah, the problem is I think they might still want to approve it, but go ahead and click on edit and see if it'll let you get past it.
Okay, and okay, here we go. So we'll give this a shot.
Okay.
We'll sign out and reopen. See, folks, this is just like what you'd go through at home. So here we are. All right, let's see how
Sign
this
out
works.
in progress.
So what are the main things that you would say people are going to go ahead and experience when they get into, okay, so it's using my credentials.
Perfect.
And let's see how this works.
And actually, as this is pulling up, oh, lovely, yay, okay. So this will be the next page after you sign in. It'll bring you to your home page. And if for whatever reason you don't see this page, you can click on that home in the top left-hand corner there. And then it asks, what would you like to do today? You can either apply for funding or check the claims, and that'll bring up your claim dashboard. You've actually the claim dashboard actually showing below for his home screen here. But to apply for a new claim, you just click there as apply for funding. Then it's got these three options here that pop up, and really the only one that we're using this fiscal year is the Pi program funding in the blue box. So that'll pull up all of the Pi programs that are available to partners. And the only ones that you'll see in here, if you're a partner versus a Microsoft employee, are the ones that are eligible, that you're eligible for based on your competencies. So if you don't see the FY18 Azure Everywhere for Premium and Data Workloads, it's likely because the system doesn't recognize you as having the competencies for that program. If you feel you do and it's not showing, then you can reach out to the Pi support team and they'll double check that and get that added in for you. But Azure Everywhere, because there are no competency requirements, should show up for everyone. So you can go ahead and click on Azure Everywhere in the programs there. Perfect. And this does give you kind of a quick overview of what the program is. On the right-hand side under supporting resources, you've got a downloadable deck, invoice instructions, and then just link to the partner network. In the red box are the items that you'll need before you submit the claim. So you can kind of do a quick review there, make sure you have all that information from your customer, and then click Get Started. Perfect. And this brings you into the actual claim page. So if it's a managed customer or a customer that maybe has leveraged one of these programs before, they might be searchable in this customer name box. But if it's an unmanaged customer or they've never been in the Pi tool before for a claim from a different partner, then they likely aren't in there. So if you do, add new customer for the unmanaged customers likely, then you can just kind of throw in some tests in there to fill it out so that we can get to the next page. So you put in their customer contact information, customer address. The TPID, which stands for Top Parent ID, is not a required field. So if you happen to know what their Top Parent ID is, which is an identifier by Microsoft, then feel free to put it in, but otherwise don't worry about it. For customer contact, you have title, phone number, email address. And then once we get to activity, there's the drop down there of, is it a proof of concept? Is it a workshop or deployment plus assessment? For this, really, you can put either one, but put the one that best kind of makes sense for the activity that you're actually going to be engaging with the customer. For the funding start date, that really means the project start date. So when the funding becomes available is when you can start the project. So you need to have it at least 2 weeks out, because it takes about 2 weeks to have the review and approval process go through for the PI team. So you can put it at 2 weeks out, and then it automatically sets the next touch point out 60 days, I believe, from there. And you've got 60 days then to complete that POC or deployment migration engagement with your customer, and then submit the proof of execution. So Microsoft Deal Contact is going to be your PDM. And if your PDM isn't in there, you can always put my name in there. So Katie Rickman should show in there as well. But hopefully your PDM is there. And if it turns out that your PDM isn't there, put my name and then just let your PDM know, because we do have some, since the reorg, some shifting around in roles. So we do need to add some more of the PDMs in there now as well. Project competitors, if you do have like an AWS compete or Google compete or something like that, then you can put that in there, but not required if it's not a compete opportunity. Then the opportunity ID, as I was mentioning before, if it's a managed customer, then you'll actually want to put in the account manager's opportunity ID from MSX. If it's an unmanaged customer and you don't have access to Partner Sales Connect, then just like Bruce did, just drop in unmanaged. Industry, throw any one of those in there. And then description of services is just a couple sentence write-up of what you're going to be doing. Perfect. If it is associated to a campaign, we do have some specific campaigns in market right now. Then we'll continue to be adding to that. But if it's not associated with one of those campaigns, then yep, just put none. Select your workload. So is this going to be Azure, SQL, Power BI, EMS, etc.? Just put the one that's the best fit. Perfect. Opportunity size, if it's the $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. So remember, the $1,000 a month is the $1,500 payout. The $2,000 a month is the $3,000 payout. And if it's a SQL on-prem non-SPLA opportunity, then you would just kind of think of that as $12,000 for the year or $24,000 for the year to get you in there. Okay.
Next.
And the master supplier agreement should be a not required field.
Okay. All right. Good. I won't answer.
Yeah.
That.
So
Okay.
if you have one, then great, but likely not. So you can just go ahead and move to the next. Perfect. And so what this will do is it'll create for you a draft statement of work. So you'll just want to review all of the details that are in the statement of work there, and then confirm in that little box below the big box that all of the information is correct. You got to scroll all the way down so they make sure that you read it all, and then put your name in and submit. And the next page that pops up, so you can actually go ahead and click submit to, and that's just fine. The next page that'll pop up is letting you know that it has been successfully submitted and that you have, I believe it's a short turnaround to be contacted by the PI support team. They'll also shoot you an email, an automated email saying that we did receive it. And then, like I said, it does take about 2 weeks before you will have the full review, approval, and PO in hand. And as soon as you have that purchase order in hand for you, the partner, then you can start doing that work with the customer. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So that is all I wanted to share on the kind of walkthrough of the Pi engine. So as far as going back into, so if I request control, can I put up that PowerPoint now again? Let me see.
You actually may be able to check it out. If not, you can grab it from, actually, you know what you're going to do if you do that? Is you're going to take over my desktop. So why don't we say, I'll say no, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to have you go ahead and get into the Manage Content area.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, you'll see the PowerPoint, and you can go ahead and present that, and it'll pop up, and here you are.
I think I'm there.
Yep, we see it. Great.
Smooth. Okay. Okay, so it brought me back to the beginning of mine again. So I'll jump through this deck. Okay, how to navigate Pi. The next thing that I want to talk about was Cloud Mentor Program. I know I'm running low on time, so I'll try and make this one quick. But the Cloud Mentor Program is really for partners that are new to the cloud. They're looking for help in building their kind of technical capacity within their organization around Azure, any service, Office 365, open source on Azure, EMS, E3 or E5, and Dynamics 365. So it really covers all of our solution areas for the cloud. And it's helping to build your base of technical knowledge, helping you to kind of gain your confidence in selling and deploying these cloud solutions, as well as enabling you to create a repeatable, scalable, profitable cloud business, excuse me, and achieving a competency if that's something that's a goal for you. Here it talks about the specific partner benefits for Cloud Mentor Program. Oh, and I have someone that says that all they're seeing is a black screen. Is everyone else seeing the presentation or just a black screen at this point?
I am seeing a presentation. Yep, looks like many people are seeing it. So you might want to restart, get back, go out and come back in if you're not seeing anything.
Perfect. Okay, good. So 3 main benefits for Cloud Mentor Program is you receive a cloud guide as a named point of contact at the beginning of the program, and they'll do the onboarding into the program, kind of set expectations for it, and then also do monthly touch points with you during the 6-month duration of the program to make sure that you're progressing as you would like. And then at the end of the program, they'll do the offboarding as well. Excuse me, I've got a little something in my throat here. Okay, so second partner benefit is you will receive a customized technical training plan from one of our partner technical consultants. So you have our cloud guide from the Cloud Enablement Desk. That's the point of contact. Then they'll also help connect you with a partner technical consultant that will understand kind of where you are currently from a technical capacity perspective, where you're looking to grow your business, and then they'll help to build a customized technical training plan based on the resources that they have available to them to say, here's, you know, some on-demand resources, here's some links that you might want to look at, things like that. So that you have kind of from step 1 to step 8, a guide to building your technical capacity. The third piece is assistance through the sales cycle from that partner technical consultant. We actually have a pool of partner technical consultants, if you will, that you can dip into and ask for help with, you know, POC guidance, architectural design session, best practices. They can do just solution overviews as well. So on the next slide, we actually talk through a couple of the scenarios that partners typically leverage the partner technical consultants for. So one is one-on-one sessions with a PTC to provide a solution overview or demo of a specific cloud solution. So this is something that I've seen partners in the past make really good use out of. I actually had a partner that would do one-on-one sessions every other week with their PTC to do, say, Azure Site Recovery as they're looking to build out their backup, you know, business continuity type of business. Then they would do the next one around, say, backup and storage. And so the PTC would actually do a solution overview for each one of those, do a demo of the solution, kind of talk through how to set it up, any gotchas, best practices, and then also provide them some additional links to learn more after the session. So that's a great way to kind of build your technical aptitude there within your organization. The second piece is really focused on that deal-specific guidance. So you have some opportunities in your pipeline. You want help from a PTC on how to accelerate those opportunities. Maybe it's conversations around compete, like how do we do something versus AWS, or maybe it's around building out the solution and deployment best practices. Then they can definitely help with that as well. It is a teaching the partner how to fish type of team, so they won't be jumping on with the customer with you, but they'll be teaching you kind of behind the scenes how to do it. So here the question is, the technical consultant client facing or only behind the scenes? There we go. So they are teaching you how to fish. There are extreme cases where we have asked for exceptions to bring the PTC to be a customer facing. That's few and far between. Really, they're partner facing resources. Okay, so here's some of the minimum partner eligibility requirements. So you need to be vetted by your IPDM or PDM before being submitted, and then they'll submit on your behalf. You do need to be a managed partner, so the team here is all managed, so they're fine there, and not supported by a dedicated PTS. So this team, again, is as the partner set that you don't have a dedicated partner technical support person, so you're fine there. You do need to have a MAPS, Microsoft Action Pack subscription, or a competency, and it can be a competency of any type, because having that gets you access to the online submission tool that we leverage for access to the partner technical consultants and the services that they provide. So that is something that we can't budge on. You do need to have that the competency or the MAPS. You do need to have at least 3 opportunities in your pipeline to work on. If, say, you as a partner organization are looking to maybe migrate your data center to the cloud, that can be used as an opportunity as well. So it can be 1 internal and maybe 2 different customer opportunities, or opportunities in different solution areas would work as well. If you're an app builder and you're building an application that's going to be sold to multiple customers and monetized that way, then that would also count, and those multiple customers would be those multiple opportunities in essence. So as an ISV or an app builder that's monetizing that app externally to multiple customers, then that would work too. The fourth one, that you've started your practice journey or a practice building journey or vetted by a partner manager. For right now, we're really looking at the vetted by a partner manager, IPDM, by saying that, yes, you have started to take the steps to show that you're committed to building a practice. And then the fifth one is that a lot of partners asked this in the last couple of years since we've had the Azure Mentor program before we expanded into the Cloud Mentor program. How much time do I need to devote to building my cloud practice during the 6 months? And so we put 2 hours in there as kind of a best practice for what we saw, as how much time our partners would spend, reviewing the training materials, engaging with their Cloud Enablement Desk Cloud Guide, or working with their PTCs to accelerate the opportunities in their pipeline. I really hope you will clarify regarding the CSP incentives. Okay, so I'm going to actually let the CSP incentive go to the PDMs there. And I'll jump to the next one. So this talks about the technical tracks that are available. So like I said, it crosses all of our solution areas from modern workplace, business apps, apps and infrastructure, and data and AI. So these are kind of the practice areas that you might be looking to build. So say if it's a ASR, disaster recovery type of practice, then that would be part of cloud infrastructure and management. If maybe you're looking to, you have a strong SQL on-prem practice and you're looking to extend that to the cloud and modernize their data platform, then you'd be the data and AI practice, for example. In red here, you'll see that it is for Office really focused on, excuse me, the Microsoft 365, Office 365 E3 or E5, EMS E3, E5, and WES E3, E5, kind of focusing on the more not so basic workloads within there. Okay, and last couple slides here for CMP support. So we do have the intro that's done by the Cloud Enablement Desk, the technical services run by the PTC, pipeline review and pipeline support from the PTC, and then the engagement throughout the program, like I was saying, with the Cloud Enablement Desk Cloud Guide, touching base with you on a monthly basis, just making sure that you're progressing and getting the value out of the program that you're looking for. And how to get started. Just make sure you meet the eligibility requirements, reach out to your PDM or IPDM to discuss your interest and request the nomination form, fill out all of those fields, submit them back to your PDM or IPDM, and then the review and approval process takes about 5 to 10 days. So just kind of keeping that in mind after you've submitted that, does take about 5 to 10 days to get that reviewed and approved. And then the Cloud Guide, once approved, will be reaching out to you via email to set up some time to onboard you into the program and kind of discuss next steps at that point. So I think that was primarily it for me. So I guess any questions, and then I'll let it go to Bruce.
Yeah. Well, the good news is Katie is going to be here for the rest of the call. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the window. And thank you. That was a great explanation. I know I've had lots of partners to ask me about, all the things that we covered. And so it's very, very important. And so thanks for your time, Katie.
No problem. Thank you.
Mike, you did have a question around CSP incentive. I will just let you know that we're verifying that question. And basically, for folks who are on the phone who didn't hear this, Mike has a great question around the CSP incentive. Is this paid on all active customers, or is it paid just on the ones sold during the July to December program window? So we're getting confirmation on that, and as soon as we have that, we're going to go ahead and put it in here, but we want to make sure we give you the exact right information, so hang on there. And while we're doing that, I just wanted to go ahead and talk very briefly around advanced support for partners, because this comes up in some conversations, and just want to give you a frame of reference for it. We can have a further discussion, and there's some great folks that we can put you in touch with if you're interested. But basically put, and I want to make sure that we're looking at this and talking about it, if you think about how you need questions as it pertains to support from Microsoft, it's really around things like selling, deploying, and supporting your customers. And we've aligned resources in several different ways, from technical pre-sales to advisory services to product support, and of course signature cloud support, all these things that help you along the way. And then of course there's some different aspects that are there throughout the entire piece, like the partner online support services, where the new or the additional options for you to really have a much higher level experience comes around with something called advanced support for partners or premier support for partners. We're going to talk a little bit about that in just a moment. So what we find is that to start give you an idea of how to think about this, the MPN technical services, which we all you're all utilizing at some point, you need to look at this from an account manager standpoint, service delivery, some types of deployments that are covered, and of course problem resolution, SLAs type of a thing. So if you look at the standard grouping, there's no account manager involved, but as you go ahead and try to get some help on certain things, obviously the resources are there. It's just a question of what is covered and how is it covered. So depending on the severity of the different priorities that are out there, it's either a 2, 4, 8 hour SLA for response. And then as you move up to advanced support for partners, now there's actually a group of account managers that can really shepherd your request through to get response, and of course the SLAs actually improve. And then finally, for premier support, you have literally a one-on-one advocate, and that is an assigned person to you. And there are a couple of different things, like service delivery might also include on-site support. And so just want to make sure that you understand the different options that are available to you as we differentiate what these look like. Now, this is a great slide because it allows you to see what's included in each piece. So as a silver and or gold partner, which honestly, with all the benefits that are available to you, little side note here, you really need to be at least silver in a competency that actually dovetails with how you go to market, and we can help you with that, your PDMs and your IPDMs. But of course, what happens is as you create or go through to fulfill your requirements and your competency, you pay $2,000 a year for that. And as part of that, you receive certain incidents and support and advisory hours and whatnot. And then when you move up to MPN Gold, let's say, there's actually a little bit more teleaccount specialists available to you to sort of help you through some of the different aspects. And then we get to the advanced support for partners. Now, the thing it contains everything that we talked about on that previous slide, but in addition to that, there's actually proactive workshops, there's training opportunities for your team, all of that, and then even more on the Premier side as well. And of course, there's additional items that would be useful to you, and so just something for you to be aware of as you go through. Now, one of the things briefly, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but there is definitely a net effect to your ability to be able to demonstrate your proficiency and your better results to your customers based on this type of investment that you could make, whether it's faster resolution, more customers that are active, higher revenue. We have some folks that are able to build the cost of this into how they provide their support to their customers, so that's very important. So just to close up real quick, this is sort of how the advanced support for partners looks from a subscription standpoint. It's $12.50 per month. Annually, it's about $14,000, and we could certainly get you some more information on that. One group of folks that I would absolutely have you look at very closely on advanced support for partners, or even Premier, is if you are going to be CSP direct. And simply put, the reason why is if you're direct, you are no longer receiving the type of support that you would get from a two-tier provider, as they're going to have resources that are allocated towards that. So this next slide, I'm just going to go through super quick, meaning just let you know here are the steps to sign up. I wanted to get it into the deck, but we don't need to go through that now because I'm going to hand it off right now back to Kristen to talk about the CIE.
Thanks, Bruce. Oh, I look like let me just quickly forward to the slides. Someone kicked me back. And I am going to talk about our customer immersion experience. So a lot of times I get asked by partners, they need help generating new leads, help with their sales reps to close business. And the customer immersion experience is really a great way to prepare for and expand your selling toolkit, so to say, for Microsoft Online Services. If you haven't heard of it before, it is our most powerful sales and marketing tool in the US. To drive velocity in your pipeline, increase usage, and show the value to your customers of our online services. It's not a generic demo about the features of Microsoft products that we have to offer, but really instead it's an experience. It's a hands-on test drive, kind of kick the tires, so to speak, experience that allows customers to sell themselves on the value a consolidated Microsoft platform could deliver for their business. During a traditional CIE session, or I guess a traditional CIE session is really an in-person event for roughly 10 to 11 individuals. Ideally, you want to invite C-level executives or business decision makers from your end customer or potential end customers' organizations. The customers come into a room that will have devices set up, each configured with its own persona, from a pre-populated demo environment that includes Office 365, EMS, Dynamics, and other products. The customer immersion experience is based upon customized content for one of 17 different industries. So you can click on which customized content you want to present on. So if you have somebody from healthcare, you want to take them down the customer immersion experience for healthcare, government, education, manufacturing, financial, just to name a few that we have out there. Typically, these sessions will last anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, and sometimes shorter if they are done. You can do them, I've seen partners do them at trade shows, conferences, or even quick mini CIE sessions where they're not just inviting one customer to go deep with, but multiple customers in to kind of get a taste of the experience. The sessions are delivered by a trained facilitator that you will have at your organization, at your partner organization that you put through this program. And this facilitator will really encourage discussions that benefit the customers in the room and their goals. The CIE can also be done as a virtual session and really can be set up in minutes and connect through virtual machines in Azure from any device enabled with RDP. This means you can run a CIE session from any set of devices, really. It doesn't have to be on the Microsoft equipment. That does come as a benefit of being in this program. And your customers can connect from their own devices you could even also run these sessions remotely online as well. So there's multiple ways where you can deliver or facilitate a customer immersion experience. Some benefits of participating in the customer immersion experience program is you do get use of these mobile CIE kits with the latest Microsoft devices shipped to a location of your choice. So we will ship it to you guys. And they're already pre-configured, like I mentioned earlier. I also do know of partners that actually have labs set up of their own devices, so you can use those as well. But for being in the program, you can take advantage of our devices if you don't have them. You have the ability to book rooms at Microsoft offices and our Microsoft technology centers to hold these sessions in case you don't have the space at your location. Your facilitator will get a full guide, online training materials, access to best practice webinars or webcasts, and supplemental content through our CIE partner portal. So they'll have access to that as well. There's downloadable marketing assets to generate internal company awareness and to drive customer demand to these sessions, and community office hours as well. To get started, you will have to have one of your sales reps or multiple go through our customer immersion experience training. We do have some coming up. There's one in Cleveland, so I will shout out that since that's my location. But you can send them to the Washington, Texas, California, Wisconsin, all the different locations. There is a cost of $950 for the facilitator training. However, we have secured a $500 discount code while the funds last for our partners. Just send us an email and we'll take care of that. And I'm going to wrap up just for time's sake, so Asia can do our wrap-ups, and I will hand it over to you, Asia.
Thanks, Kristen, and thanks everybody for being on the call, and a special thanks to Katie. It was 6:30 a.m. when we got started her time. So thanks, everybody. As we close out, we've talked about so much, and I want to make sure we pull it all together in terms of what do you need to do next. As you go download the deck, please take a look at this and figure out what's most important. One, you've got to make sure you have a competency that's on your approved list that is active through December 31st that will allow you to be eligible for the current incentives. And it looks like I need to take over. Excuse me. And heading back. Sorry, guys. All right, so head back to slide 4 to see what those competencies are and make sure yours is active through the end of December. Go register on PyXP to be able to activate the incentive for your business. If you don't, the sales from your business from July 1st through December 31st will not be eligible for the incentive. If you're interested in participating in Azure Everywhere, please reach out to myself, your PDM or your IPDM. You do need to get a supplier ID set up. This process for getting registered can take up to 3 weeks, so let's get started on that right now. You also want to complete the Cloud Mentor nomination if you're interested in that, and set up time with your PDM and or your IPDM to continue the next steps for your business. I've included in
I think we just lost you, Asia. But what Asia was going to say
Yeah.
was that actually this is all of our information that you should actually hopefully reach out to us if you have any questions about what was presented. Are you back, Asia? Okay. And of course, on the left, we have the partner development managers, and on the right, we have our inside partner development managers. So great resources for you to reach out to go ahead and make a difference with, this year, what you're doing. And then finally, I think that's where we're going to close out, folks. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and do that. We're looking forward to a great year and more programs like this where we can sort of dig in deeper to some of the great programs that can really help the trajectory of your business. So thank you very much for joining in, and we'll see you next time.